From SETI Alpha 5, it's the IGN Digigods. And now, please welcome two men who don't like to lose, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
Ooh, Bob, who's the hipster that sent in a SETI Alpha 5 reference?
Eric Altieri, with Altieri Motives.
Awesome.
That
was a cute pun.
That's my favorite movie of all time. I've seen that movie more than I've seen any other movie ever.
You've seen that movie more than you've seen your mother.
Not quite.
You've seen that movie more than you've seen your mother in the last 5 years?
I've seen Star Trek 2 probably, I don't know, 20 times.
Jeez,
30
really?
times?
You know, I saw
maybe?
Star Trek the Motion Picture 12 times in the theater in like the first 2 months of its release.
Oh, no. I followed Star Trek 2 from the National Theater all the way down to when it eventually went to the 99-cent theater, the Crest.
But I did
Star
that
Trek
too.
2 played at the Crest for a while.
I followed Star Trek Motion Picture from the National to the Topanga Twin to when it eventually played at the Criterion and some dive somewhere for 99 cents.
Oh, I saw Star Trek.
When we were three of the only four people in the theater.
No, I remember seeing Star Trek the Motion Picture at the Criterion Theater on the Third Street Promenade.
Told you. When it was still big, before it was a
Yes,
multiplex.
it was it was one huge theater.
Too bad it still isn't.
Very low. It was like a huge long rectangle.
Yeah.
And it was,
a
99
great theater.
99 cents. And it was at the Third Street Promenade. It has since been turned into a fancy schmancy theater.
Yeah, it's not
and
that
I remember
fancy.
it was me, my mother, and about 600 Mexicans. That's who saw Star Trek the Motion Picture at the Criterion at that particular show.
Okay.
I also remember seeing Superman at the Criterion.
Really?
And Superman being the only film I've ever seen where at the end of the opening credits there was an ovation.
No kidding.
Well, with the music and the effects, you kidding? Unbelievable. Wait, speaking of unbelievable.
Yes, we have listener mail today, by the way.
We have listener mail. We're also going to talk about long-awaited Blu-ray, one of the greatest films ever made.
Oh my
also,
gosh, if not the greatest.
Wade is going to put his life on the line right here during the show.
That's true. This is going to be half Digigods and half Fear Factor today.
And the reason that is...
You worked on Fear Factor, so you're...
I did not...
a little bit. You're bringing some experience from the show to force me to eat, like, pigtails and snot rags or something.
Snot rags. Now, Wade would not try my last ice cream because it had bacon in it.
Yuck.
It was Nutella bacon.
Friggin' bacon and ice cream.
Very good, by the way.
Why don't you put gizzards in ice cream? Like, just boil up some chicken gizzards and mix it in with a nice, like Rocky Road. That'll be, yum.
You know, I'll have you know that I almost made an ice cream that I saw online that is made with Roquefort cheese.
And liver? Roquefort and liver?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, so Wade will be trying two of my ice creams.
Yeah.
They're good.
Liver and eggplant ice
One's
cream.
actually very good. The other I'm a little lukewarm on.
Okay.
But before we do that...
Brussels sprout flavored ice cream.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts and ketchup.
You know what's very
and
good?
Ice cream.
Is kind of lightly caramelized Brussels sprouts.
Mm-hmm. Shrimp ice cream. It's yummy.
It's sweeping the nation?
It's sweeping the nation. It is. It's a trend.
You are going to be blown away by
sure
my ice cream.
Okay.
But Wade...
Yeah.
By the way...
Yes.
Can we talk about Citizen Kane?
Yeah, I think we can. Now, there's a little confusion going around here because Citizen Kane... Mark, turn your phone off. What are you doing?
Hello.
Oh, see, this is the joy that we have on this show. Mark has never taken a phone call on the show before. He is taking a phone call. I can't believe he's doing this. Mark is taking a phone call. While Mark is taking his phone call, I'm going to keep this rolling just so that we can show how completely unpolished and unprofessional we are. Citizen Kane, 70th anniversary on both DVD and Blu-ray. We have the Blu-ray here because there really is not enough to substantially differentiate it on DVD from the previous special edition a few years ago. The 70th anniversary comes in a lovely slipcover. Has a great little booklet in it and another little sleeve that has a bunch of collectible cards. It's a lovely, lovely set, and there are 3 discs in the Digipack. The discs include the 1080p brilliant, beautiful Blu-ray of Citizen Kane itself, along with 2 DVDs for The Battle Over Citizen Kane, which won an Oscar, or actually was nominated for an Oscar in 1995. Best Documentary, and then the Emmy-winning 1999 film RKO 281. Now, both of those are highly acclaimed. Those are the extras. And Mark is now back from his phone call. It was a good phone call?
It was. Wait, here's the thing.
Yeah.
It was an online. I'm trying to set up I date online.
Yeah.
I like Match.com.
Right.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Because, I want
You're
to
a
settle
whore.
down.
Yeah, you're a whore.
I'm a male whore.
Yeah.
And that was one of the women who I had contacted.
I
And
see.
I'm going to call her once we're done
Oh.
to set up a date.
Wow.
Which will then die in flames.
If, I'm just saying if, 2 years from now, we're doing this podcast, God forbid we're still doing it 2 years from now, and then we said that 2 years ago. If 2 years from now we're doing this podcast and you also have to take a break, but not to answer a phone, but to actually go change diapers, everyone will know it began here, now, today, this show, in this moment.
Wait, I'm basic.
I'm just saying.
As I'll tell my therapist tomorrow.
And by that, I mean I don't mean a baby. I mean you have to change your own diapers.
Got it.
Because incontinence will have set in, and there's a whole long.
I've got a few
history of
decades for that.
Yes.
But as I will tell my therapist tomorrow,
Yes.
I basically feel like at this point I'm just fighting against like God's plan for me.
Yeah.
And even attempting to settle down. God's plan for me, I don't know. I think God's plan for me might be, not that I believe in God, but it might be to retire to some French cottage somewhere and just run out the clock in
And
France
then you
or
will
something.
find some amazing young French woman who will.
But then I'll be 70 years old and it won't matter.
Yeah, you know what? It'll matter. Hey, my father was in his 70s when I was born.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah. After 5 marriages, finally got it right.
Says you.
Says I. Hey, I'm here. I'm evidence. So anyway, these are the issues with this release of Citizen Kane on Blu-ray. And Mark and I were looking at this before the show and spotlighting the fact that it's so aggravating. The problems, they did not go back and remaster this. They did not go back and correct the problems that were present on the previous DVD, namely the fact that it is overly detailed in places. Now, in most parts of the film, that's not a huge problem. We've talked about the issue of Warner Brothers extracting too much detail from some of their classic films in the past, like with Robin Hood, where you can actually see the chainmail that is just painted sweaters and the papier-mâché trees are actually papier-mâché. You can actually see that in The Adventures of Robin Hood. And there are similar problems in Citizen Kane, namely that opening scene where, or one of the early scenes, where all the reporters are in the newsroom and everything is backlit and it's just the dim bulbs and the projector light and all of that, and they're trying to decide on how do we get the story on Kane. Everyone's faces are supposed to be buried in the shadows there, and you can see clearly the features of the main guy who's talking. You can see his eyes, his nose. It's not chalked out the way that it was supposed to. Toland and Wells wanted everything to be buried in the shadows because symbolically, that's what Kane's life was all about, and that's where all of those details of Kane's life are. The whole thing is metaphorical to the nth degree, and that scene is still a problem. Too much detail.
It is. I think for some of that, it winds up being to the film's benefit because you can see, texture and fabric and skin, and that always looks nice. And I think some of those deep focus shots that Greg Toland had pulled off
sometimes
well,
it's great, but
I think there are certain thematic elements because the lighting, great lighting, always serves character and theme.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it, but great lighting always serves character and theme. And here in Citizen Kane, no more than in Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
So when you extract some of that, when you decide to put too much detail in where whatever Wells and Toland were going for in that scene is now lost because Warner Brothers figures, we should show their faces.
Yeah, well, it's
people
clearly,
don't want to see.
That stuff isn't good, so that's a problem. And even though the 2 extras here, the 2 DVD extras, are highly acclaimed, our good friend Ray Green, who is a bit of a Kane aficionado himself, is not a fan of either of them. And he wanted to make sure that we got that across. He thinks The Battle Over Citizen Kane is a lame documentary and RK281 is no better. Now, that being said, you didn't know this, but Ray has been working on a rather extensive and elaborate and very personal audio documentary on Orson Welles for the PBS Off-Ramp series, or the NPR Off-Ramp series.
Really?
Yes. which originates at KPCC, where I also do Film Week. So we're going to be sure and plug that as soon as it's available in podcast form. I know a little bit about it, and Ray, look, Ray knows as much, if not more, about Wells than most scholars out there. He is a serious Wells aficionado, and I am really looking forward to it. I think that's something that they may have wanted to wait for to put on this this set. But anyway,
so Ray has this set.
Ray does not have this. It's funny, we were talking about this the other day, he and I, and after I went and spoke in his class at Loyola, and we were talking afterwards about Magnificent Ambersons, which, here's a weird thing, we don't have, but it's available along with this version of Citizen Kane in some sets. You can get it on Amazon together, Citizen Kane and the Magnificent Ambersons on DVD, not on Blu-ray, because they haven't restored it, and Ray knows a little bit about that as well. Ambersons has never been available on DVD before, ever. It's historic. I don't know why they didn't even promote it with Citizen Kane. We don't have it. Now, I've harassed Warner Brothers to see why we don't have it, why they're not, putting it out there, because it's not available individually. It's only available as an extra in some sets of Citizen Kane if you actually look for it. It's like they're burying it all over again. They're crapping all over that movie again. What's the deal? Wells has been dead for decades, and they're still crapping all over the Magnificent Ambersons.
It is true.
It's unbelievable.
I don't know why that never became a standalone release.
It's
a compromised, flawed film,
but it's still a masterpiece.
But that's the weird part, is that it's still a great movie. And when you watch it, I've seen Magnificent Ambersons projected. I saw it in New York projected, and
I did too.
When you watch it, you see where the holes are. You see it feels a little incomplete, but even though it feels incomplete, it's still a great movie.
No, it's just but I don't know why they can't get behind it. People have wanted that for so long, and Warner Brothers just. They won't do it. I don't get it.
By the way, a whole bunch of special features on that, including Peter Bogdanovich audio commentary. Peter Bogdanovich sort of...
very, very, yes.
Okay, now this is a...
and of course the Roger Ebert commentary. They're both still there.
Okay, wait, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, I've been complaining about the Mystery Science Theater 3000 box sets, and I love that show more than anybody, and I am just up to my goddamn ears in these, and I want it to stop. I can't take it anymore. This one... is great. If you want to know what Mystery Science Theater 3000 is, you've got to get Manos Hands of Fate Special Edition.
Really?
Now, Manos Hands of Fate is kind of a legendary film. It's a bit like The Room. Remember The Room?
Oh, my gosh, The Room, which was advertised on the billboard at La Brea and Sunset for like 18 years.
And it's considered the worst
cult
film.
Classic now, because it's, Luke Thompson put that on his 10 best films of the decade list. God bless Luke.
He's out of his mind. Manos Hands of Fate is sort of The Room of that era.
Yeah.
Where it was considered the worst film ever made.
Yeah.
And Mystery Science went to town on it, and it's now available in a Mystery Science Theater Manos Hands of Fate Special Edition. It's 2 discs. Disc 1 includes Manos Hands of Fate, a couple bonus features, and also Disc 2 includes the actual movie, which is horrifyingly bad. But Manos Hands of Fate is one of the most famous episodes of Mystery Science. So if you're tired of the box sets, as I am, you should go ahead and get Manos Hands of Fate Special Edition, because it's great.
Swankable.
Speaking of great, Wade.
Yeah.
There is a documentary that came out earlier this year called Conan O'Brien Can't Stop, and I just...
Well, that's the tour he did between... being fired from The Tonight Show and raking in $40 million, and then starting up again with TBS and having some time to burn. So he went on a tour, right?
He did, and Rodman Flender is a terrific director and a great documentary director, and he knocked it out of the park big time in Conan O'Brien Can't Stop. Now, what he did is he went on tour with Conan O'Brien, and he sort of caught O'Brien in that sort of gray area between where he was and what he's going to become next.
Right.
And there's still a lot of that bitterness there. But there are such great choices made in this documentary where the documentary doesn't really traffic in bitterness for the sake of bitterness. It really is a chronicle of this man at this time in his life. And it doesn't try to amp the drama or tune down the drama or tune up the comedy, whatever. It's just literally what Conan O'Brien was experiencing, feeling, and thinking at that moment. For good or bad, funny or not funny, this is him on this tour.
That's pretty great.
And he did a great job on this documentary. It's just a terrific film. I highly recommend it. The Blu-ray looks great. There's a bunch of special features, including a commentary with Rodman Flender. and Conan O'Brien and Andy Richter and Mike Sweeney, and also Conan's assistant is there, personal assistant is there, and it's just great stuff. There's a lot of great music in it. I think Conan O'Brien is hilarious generally, and you get a sense of how brilliant he is, how quick he is, and how incisive he is.
I was always amazed whenever there was an interesting thing on when he was doing before he went to the Tonight Show, when he was still doing later or late show or whatever it was called.
I was a producer on Later, Wade.
Yeah, I know, but it was what was it? It was later with Conan O'Brien or the Late Show, whatever it was. The other show.
Late night.
Late night. Thank you. I think it's late something, and there was a moment with the writer's strike. If you remember when they did the writer's strike, when Jay Leno had to write all his own jokes, and then he was going to get in trouble because he's a Writers Guild member, and he shouldn't have been writing his own jokes, and yada, yada. And Conan, because he was supporting the writers, obviously, instead of doing a monologue, he started, performing every night. He went and get the banjo and the guitar, and he'd do a little musical bit. And it was amazing. He'd sing, and you thought, why haven't we seen this side of him before? I mean, there are a lot of facets to him as a performer that I just find fascinating. So I guess from what you're saying, it all comes out in that movie.
It really does. It's a terrific film, one of the best documentaries of 2011. I thought it was hilarious, and it was moving, and I liked it a lot. And I cannot recommend it highly enough, especially if you love late-night television and the Leno, Letterman, Conan wars. Just before we go on to whatever the hell you're holding in your hand.
This is going to scare you.
I'm a little worried about Conan now.
Yeah. Because
the George Lopez show has been canceled.
Yeah.
I want this.
Okay.
I want this too.
Rock on.
Thank you very much. Anyway, the Conan O'Brien show, Lopez tonight has been canceled.
Yeah.
Conan is slipping a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen with that guy. I'm a little bit worried.
You know what? He could have a film career, I'll tell you.
What?
He could.
No, he can't.
As an actor? Sure. Absolutely.
I don't know what he's going to do because he can't really act. Can he really act?
Sure,
What,
I'll bet you could.
sitcom?
I have the project for him, and he would knock it out of the park. I'm not kidding you. I'll tell you after the show. You would go, really? Honestly, it'll blow your mind. It would be amazing.
No, won't.
He'll win an Oscar.
Anyway, Conan O'Brien Can't Stop. Highly recommended on Blu-ray.
If you go to milkdocumentary.com, read a little bit, and then decide if you want to see this movie, because it's a little bit upsetting. Mark, do you like milk?
I like milk. In fact, Wade, I used heavy cream and milk to make the two ice creams that I'm about to bring out for you to try.
Well, you go get those ice creams, because we're going to talk about dairy products right now. Let's put it this way. This is not going to get any traction in France. One thing I learned very quickly in France is you cannot live without dairy products. Everything has eggs, cream, cheese, milk, yogurt, on and on and on. The French live for dairy. If it's between dairy and wine, that's France. But truly dairy, there's nothing without dairy in it. You just if you tell the French, I don't eat dairy, they'll just stare at you as if you're on like a hunger strike. Because who doesn't eat dairy, really? Like in France especially. Well, Got the Facts on Milk is a documentary about why milk and dairy products are not necessarily good for you.
Wait, so little of what I eat is actually good for me that I don't really think that I'm taking dairy off the list.
I give them credit for, this is produced and directed by a filmmaker named Shira Lane. I give them credit for actually doing it in a very entertaining way. It is, this is a really fun film to watch, and it makes a lot of really good points. But at the end, I just thought, well, okay, fine, whatever. I'm still going to eat dairy. I can't live without it. Cheese, come on. I can't live without cheese. I can't live without eggs and waffles, and you got to have it.
No one cares.
But anyway, it is actually really good, and I like it better than most of those kind of fear-mongering food documentaries, of which there are quite a lot. Like Food Inc. is just horrifying and makes you want to just starve yourself lest you eat anything. And then, of course, there's Morgan Spurlock's just a horrible junk food binge movie, which I find to be terribly self-serving and pointless.
Wait, I'm actually...
But anyway, Got the Facts on Milk.
Okay,
watch it at your own risk.
Whatever. Okay, I'm actually making the spoonful for you to make sure that all the goodness of the s'mores ice cream. This has marshmallow fluff.
Oh, jeez.
Graham crackers.
Yeah.
Chocolate and cocoa powder.
Okay, fine.
Just
give me.
Shut up and eat it. Okay. This is unrehearsed non-comedy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hang on, he's not. He's smiling, which either means he's trying to come up with a really witty teardown of my ice cream, or he likes it. Now, first of all, first impressions of my s'mores ice cream.
I like the graham cracker.
Oh, so you got
nice.
the graham cracker?
Yeah, I got a little graham cracker in there. That's nice. It's a little graham cracker. It's very chocolatey.
Okay, I like
with
chocolate.
With a little graham cracker aftertaste.
Now, did you get any marshmallow in there?
Not really.
Okay, fine.
No, but
Well, you know what? You didn't deserve marshmallow. I was going to give you marshmallow.
It's not bad.
Now, hang on. Now, talk about the
bad.
next one, and then we have the mint one.
Got a couple of a lot of IMAX stuff.
By the way, I
coming
love
out.
this ice cream, so screw you.
Okay, fine. A lot of IMAX stuff's coming out on Blu-ray, as well it should, because IMAX on DVD kind of defeats the purpose. IMAX being higher resolution, you are not going to get IMAX completely out of Blu-ray, but if you have a big, beautiful television, like a really swangy Sharp or Sony or a Vizio or whatever it is we might have, then you're going to get you could get a nice quasi-IMAX image out of it. A couple of great IMAX films here, Tropical Rainforest and Ring of Fire, which of course is all about volcanoes. And, it's all about the photography, and it's all about basically the nature photography in the case of Tropical Rainforest, a lot of cool, weird animals and various things. All about, the endangered rainforests all around the world, in Asia and South and Central America and so forth. And the best thing here is it's narrated by Jeffrey Holder, who has that impeccable voice. And it just brings the whole thing together. It's actually really lovely. And Ring of Fire is narrated by Robert Foxworth, who's not quite as memorable a voice, but this is also fun and very informative. And as far as nature documentaries go, I'd say a notch above.
All right, wait, no one cares. Now,
and then,
let
me end the last one here. Vidal Sassoon, the movie. Vidal Sassoon is a guy we love to joke about, but this is actually a really good movie, believe it or not. And I was all ready to make fun of this thing. And but you know what? A lot of great fashion documentaries have come out in recent years, and this is one of them. This is terrific. If you know nothing about Vidal Sassoon, you will probably find this immensely rewarding because he's more than just kind of a fashion icon, a hairstyling icon. He's a guy who really contributed immensely to a particular style, look, and sensibility during a crucial period. He's not as influential as he used to be, but really a great documentary to go along with all of those others in recent years. September Issue, among others, that kind of have given a higher profile to the fashion industry, and I think it's really cool. It's nice to have documentaries that are a little fluffy for a change. And before I indulge in Mark's other horrible ice cream, the Battle for Marja, Blu-ray and DVD combo. And this is tremendous. This is from the Athena line, which is the educational line of Acorn. And honestly, just watch it on Blu-ray. Forget about the DVD. This thing is absolutely brutal. It is all about about a year and a half ago in February, the great big Afghani offensive, the military offensive in Afghanistan that was supposed to really kind of drill the Taliban out of Marja, which was their last southern stronghold, or at least one of their big southern strongholds. And this is incredible because it really attaches itself to all of the troops, the individuals. You really get a sense of the guys who are part of this, and Bravo Company and these other guys who are just they are the ones who are going to be doing the fighting. It's not like this one massive fighting machine. You actually get a sense of the individuals involved, and it's tremendous. This is what embedding is really supposed to all be about. It's only 84 minutes long, but it feels like a day. This thing it's really intense and almost like a documentary version in many ways of The Hurt Locker. I mean, you just get that same sense of intensity. It's really, really good. And a lot of educational stuff here, as there often is with Athena titles, but man, the photography is amazing. So highly, highly, highly recommended.
All right, wait, no one cares. Now, here's the thing with the chocolate mint.
Sure.
This is mint ice cream.
Yeah.
With the little, I granached the chocolate and mixed it in there. I'm not a huge fan of this.
Okay.
It came out okay.
Gosh,
I mean, it's not bad. You won't throw up or anything, but it's okay.
What if I do throw up?
Then we will not stop the recording. We will have that throw up on the show.
Cool.
And so this was actually me over the weekend.
Yeah.
I had 2 bushels of mint.
There's some like chocolatey, schmutzy stuff there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this is going in the garbage.
Okay.
I had 2 bushels of mint.
Yeah.
And I plucked every mint leaf.
So actual bushels of fresh mint.
Yes, and I plucked every.
Would you go to Ojai and frolic through the mint fields?
Well, I just went to Ralph's.
Okay.
Local supermarket.
Close enough.
And I seeped the mint in the cream, all that sort of stuff. It really was a big pain in the neck considering how good it turned out, because it's not my favorite. But you can be honest.
Fine. Okay. Gee, that's a big chunk.
Whatever, just eat it. He jogs like 8 miles a day.
Oh my gosh.
Is that bad? It's cold. You want to say it's cold?
It's like that's not like store mint. That's like mint leaf mint.
That's mint leaf mint. Because
my goodness.
Store mint tastes like it's called. Is it that bad? Is it bad? Or be honest. Is it bad or is it just different? Because mint in mint ice cream is rarely actual mint. The actual
it usually tastes like somebody dropped a stick of gum in it or something. Wow, that's interesting. I actually like that. That's good.
Really?
That's good. Yeah, because normally that kind of mint I'm accustomed to in like Moroccan tea.
That's right. That's right.
It's that same mint taste.
That's right.
Yeah, which I love, by the way. I love Moroccan mint tea.
So this is
and I don't like tea of any kind. I don't like hot drink of any kind. I like dark chocolate, like sludgy hot dark chocolate, sludgy European style stuff, and like Maribel. If you ever get go get Maribel in little blue tins from New York. Awesome.
Whatever.
And then this is mint tea. That's good.
Okay, so it's not bad.
No, that's good. That's good. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Would you like some more, Wade?
No.
Okay. Fine.
After the show.
After the show.
After the show. A few more docs to knock out real quickly.
I'm going to return
the mint, and I'll knock out the last of the docs.
Refrigerated home.
From First Round Features, Dear Uncle Adolf, The Germans and Their Führer. This is from one of the filmmakers who previously, Michael Kloffe, who previously did the Goebbels Experiment, another excellent film. And this is great. This is absolutely great, and I'll tell you, it's great. I know this from a family standpoint. If I haven't mentioned this before, my mother was German, and many of my family members still live in Germany. Even though my mother and her immediate family lived here, but my mother was a World War II refugee, and wow, that's heavy mint. And of course, I grew up hearing a lot of stories about life under Hitler, and some of the more incredible stories is just how everyone actually fell for this. And there are a lot of reasons why: economic reasons, and sociocultural reasons, and socioeconomic reasons. And this is an excellent, very, very thorough documentary that basically unearths a lot of private letters that were written to Adolf Hitler, about 100,000 some letters that have long since been stuffed in a Russian archive. And unveiling these, you get a sense of how people felt very personally on an individual basis. And it's fascinating. It is it's terrifying, but it's also very illuminating, because a lot of it has nothing to do necessarily even with German culture. It has all to do with the cult of personality that can evolve if situations and circumstances in a certain country get to a particular point. You could have this in any country in the world. That's the cautionary tale here. It is that Hitler was a phenomenon unique to Germany, but a phenomenon that could not necessarily be that could be replicated anywhere in the globe, and has been in many cases. So it is an excellent cautionary documentary, and also highly recommended. Man, that mint is just chewing me up.
Really?
That's some strong mint. Yeah, I mean in a good way.
Wait,
I'm not
it's strong, because here's the thing: when I made it,
I feel hair growing like in my throat on the inside,
minty hair. Or maybe hairy mint.
Really? Hair coming out of my
Because when I made it, I thought it didn't taste minty enough.
It's good.
I thought it tasted like cream with like a
good.
wisp of mint, as opposed to like mint ice cream.
No, it's good.
Really?
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, I'm very happy.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Bill Cunningham, New York, is another short documentary, but also a very good documentary by Richard Press. This is from Zeitgeist. And Bill Cunningham, well, we talked a little bit earlier about the September issue, which is, kind of connects to this in a few interesting little ways, as do other fashion docs. But this isn't a fashion doc. This is about Bill Cunningham, who is a photographer, and an amazing photographer. Now, primarily a fashion photographer, granted, but this is about a guy who took photography to an extraordinary level, and also an incredibly iconic figure. A very, very good doc, very well done, very intriguing. And I knew nothing about Bill Cunningham prior to this, but it's really very well done. Nicely directed by Richard Press all the way through. Highly recommended. And then Carrie Fisher. Geez, Mark, you got chocolate all over the schmutzits all over the Carrie Fisher documentary here.
Well, how did I do that?
I don't know.
I didn't even touch
I guess I did because I
Thank you.
pulled it over. Anyway, Carrie Fisher, Wishful Drinking. This is from HBO Films, and this is more of a performance thing. But Carrie Fisher, I don't know why she look weird. She doesn't look like Princess Leia anymore. I don't get it.
Although she lost 80 pounds on Slim Fast.
Yes, I guess. Well, anyway. This is kind of a one-woman show deal. It's a little bit self-indulgent, but very entertaining. If you're sort of into Carrie Fisher, doing her very public couch trip, you'll dig it. She's a great raconteur, and she certainly has had a very solid career as a screenwriter and rewriter and ghostwriter. So that's there. And then, Mark, help me understand what the hell this thing is.
Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he has this new kind of polymedia, pan-media art piece. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. Called Hit Record, Recollection, and it's a funky little thing. It's because it also includes a 64-page book of art and drawings and writings and whatnot. It's sort of oversized, but it also includes a DVD and a CD. And the CD contains 17 songs, original, and the DVD contains 36 short films. These are all done, either written or directed, recorded.
Sounds like a very confusing mixed media monstrosity that I can't really categorize.
It is created with hundreds of collaborators.
Do I put this on my bookshelf, on my DVD shelf, on my CD shelf, or do I find a little special shelf for this? What do I do with this?
I would put this on the bookshelf because it's shaped like a book.
Okay.
And I don't know that I like all the songs or even I like all the videos, but there is a sort of artistic cooperative thing going on, which I kind of respected as an interesting little, I don't know, side project for him. I guess he's done enough films where he can do something like this.
Why are all these things called cooperatives? Why doesn't somebody do an uncooperative? Get 10 people together to work on a project and absolutely not cooperate at all.
Because then you would never actually create a project that is releasable because nobody was cooperating.
Oh, it'd be like Transformers.
Now, I think that Levitt has some sort of designs on taking maybe some of these short films and blowing them out into features. Whether he ever does that, who knows? But it's a funky little thing he's got going on. I kind of like it. You know why? Here's the thing. Ultimately, nobody will buy this hit record recollection thing.
Yep.
But I like the fact that at least in this day and age, somebody is out there trying something different.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. True.
And I respect that.
All right. We got some listener mail to blow through. Then we're going to do some music and then new movies and try to get some TV in there, too. Ben Thompson writes this and says, two of my favorite Westerns are High Noon and Duck You Sucker, but I haven't heard anything about them coming to Blue. Do you know if they'll be making the jump to high def anytime soon? Also been waiting for Scorsese's King of Comedy. Any news on that underlooked gem? Yeah, no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I'd be very surprised if Duck You Sucker wound up on Blu-ray anytime soon. High Noon, I think we'll see relatively soon, actually. I tried to noodle around a little on that. I think High Noon should be coming to Blu-ray, if not by the first quarter of next year, certainly, hopefully, by this time next year. So within the next 12 months, we should see High Noon. King of Comedy, you know what? That'll be very interesting to see. That could go either way. That's a catalog title that was not treated terribly well on DVD. I'm hoping a lot of those catalog titles are really just being farted out every week now, and some of them even without proper promotion, like Executive Decision. Not a great film, not a bad film, but they're just spitting that thing out on Blu-ray, and they're not it almost got past our radar. I emailed the publicists today, and I said, why didn't we get anything on Executive Decision? Oh, well, it's not really being promoted. Well,
I really hope.
Stuart Baird, man. I mean, he's a great editor. He's a legendary editor. It's the only film he's directed. The only film in which Steven Seagal ever dies.
He directed Star Trek Nemesis.
Bear did. That's right. Yes, he did. So
which pretty much sunk the franchise.
Yeah. Well,
which, by the way, Nemesis.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a heartbreaker of a film because it does ultimately fail in kind of a spectacular way. but I thought it was really well shot. It's a big budget looking movie. I kind of like Nemesis. Although it sucked.
Jason Lair writes us and says, "What the hell's happened to the vampire genre? We have vampires as superheroes, Blade, Underworld, Buffy, vampires as teeny bopper melodrama, Twilight, Vampire Diaries, Vampires Assistant, vampires as Omega Men, I Am Legend, Daybreakers, and of course True Blood, which has to be the most expensive looking trashy soap opera ever sold. Well, I'm all for putting a new spin on old archetypes. Current franchises discard not only the amenities but also the mythology of traditional vampire lore to a degree that I wonder why the producers even think they need the vampire angle at all. In my day, Salem's Lot was a mediocre vampire flick, but it's like a vampire classic compared to the offerings today. Even Coppola's take on Dracula was all right. In fact, it's probably better than I remember it. I couldn't get past Keanu Reeves in, hey, I look like I'm in over my head, part 45. This must be what it looks like if the Bad News Bears ever got into the major leagues. So how did Nosferatu become Pattinson? And if people are already talking about the saturation point for superhero movies, how are we not sick to death of this landfill of vampire stuff? Right on, Jason.
Well,
love the rant.
Well, there's a couple answers to that. First of all, vampires are... Here's the thing. Vampires became popular because vampirism is essentially a metaphor for puberty.
Yes, it is.
And that's why... You get all these CW shows, right? Because the CW caters to mainly young girls.
Yes,
and that's why you get those sorts of shows. Now,
precisely.
And then you get Twilight. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Now, vampires have been slowly edging their way out of pop culture and been replaced by zombies.
Yeah,
which is a metaphor for really nothing particularly interesting, at least as far as the teenagers are concerned.
Yeah.
So now you get the zombies. So I think the vampires are starting to kind of go away.
Well.
I'm just saying.
Longtime listener Michael Jerdal writes us regarding Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which we hopefully will get to. We have on Blu-ray here. Hopefully we'll get to it today, if not next week. He says, I watch it with my wife. It is hilarious. Well, we'll be the judge of that later on. And then we got, and listen, email us at gods@digigods.com if you have just want to say something or want to ask us a question or want to take issue with us. Seriously.
By the way.
What?
How come nobody put their question into an audio file and emailed it to us?
We're doing that.
That is not good. We had 2 last week.
None this week.
None this week.
We need audio files.
Come on, folks. It's 2011. Your computer will take you 5 seconds.
It's easier than typing. Just talk. Share your voice with us. Anyway, we got Rob H. writes us and takes issue with us, which we need. You know, you got to keep us honest, people, because we have a gigantic pile of stuff we got to get through every week. We don't even get through all of it, and we, especially with TV, we don't have the time to necessarily sometimes delve into this stuff to the degree that fans might like, so we miss stuff. And Rob H., longtime fan, sorry to see Stupid for Movies go, but he takes issue with our view of Community. He says Community is a parody show. Movies, TV shows, and other parts of pop culture are parodied in brilliant fashion, but you didn't mention that premise. Highlights last season were a clip show where the cast's fond memories all flash back to adventures that the audience had never actually seen. Every clip was entirely new content. It's hilarious stuff. It's the best network comedy on the air right now, and it's right up your alley with the clever riffs on movies. And you know what? We miss that. And, that's one of the things that sometimes is a casualty of working too fast. So that's why we need the fans. As I always say, you guys keep us honest. If we miss something, if we shortchange something, a movie, a television show that you think we should treat better, by all means, tell us. We'll revisit it. So I'm going to give Community a second shot. I'm gonna watch it in more in depth.
Look at you.
Why not? If the fans say so. If they take the time to listen to us, we should take the time to listen to them. And then lastly, Eric Altieri, who wrote our opening today, wrote us and said an article came out this past week about how Steven Spielberg regrets altering E.T. and will be releasing the film in its original form on Blu-ray. Now, if we could only get George Lucas to drink this Kool-Aid. But I started thinking, we've passed the 100-year mark on a number of films already. The Great Train Robbery, A Trip to the Moon, etc. These films are now in the public domain and can be released by anyone. Do you think we'll start seeing an influx of releases of films just entering the public domain? And do you think the libraries like Kino or Criterion will take advantage of this? Could we see a Criterion release of Star Wars in 60 years? You know what? Here's my quick thumbnail on that, and I emailed him back a more in-depth answer. But right now we're seeing films entering the public domain that have been sort of long in the public domain because nobody ever bothered renewing their copyrights originally. So the question is always, when you start getting to stuff like Bringing Up Baby, is the MPAA going to lobby Congress to revise the law so that those films do not enter the public domain? And I think they will, but we're going to have to wait 10, 15, 20 years to really see the gold mine of Hollywood movies heavily lobbied for so that their copyrights do not expire.
Also, I wonder whether, let's say someday Star Wars goes into the public domain.
Will never happen.
It will never happen. Now we should explain why it'll never happen.
Well, the other thing is you have to have access to prints.
That's the thing.
You have to have access to materials, and those are all owned by the copyright holders. So nobody, unless you can go out and find someone who actually owns a third-party print, you won't have materials, you won't have access to the elements, as they say, to actually do it. What you could do, you could certainly use characters from Star Wars. Let's say theoretically, you could write a novel about Star Wars characters and not actually have to pay a licensing fee. But as for releasing the movie itself, I don't think that'll ever happen. Not for those movies.
I am right there with you, Wade Major.
All right, Mark, let's blow through some music here real quickly and try to get some other stuff that's meaningful. Counting Crows, August and Everything After, live at Town Hall. I'm not a huge fan of the Counting Crows, but I do love me a Blu-ray of a concert. And this is particularly good. This is from Eagle Vision, and this was filmed at Town Hall in New York City. And you know what? Even if you don't care for the music that much, and I'm okay with it, but it's great. It's a terrific Blu-ray, first-rate transfer, and has a bonus feature here, In Depth with Adam Duritz and Charlie Gillingham. Didn't watch it, but I assume for fans it's just going to be fabulous.
Although Adam Duritz has since become a country singer, so he's gone to the dark side.
Yeah, well. Moving on. And Foreigner Live, another great Blu-ray. This is, I love Foreigner. I come from the Foreigner era, so watching Hot Blooded and Blu-ray live, that's pretty great.
You want to know what love is, Wade.
I do. I know. And that's not one of my favorite ones. Like Double Vision, Hot Blooded, Jukebox Hero. That's more my speed.
Yeah, Hot Blooded. Check and see.
Oh, yeah.
You got a fear of 103.
Absolutely. So this is pretty great. Even though this is, like 3 decades after all those songs were hits, it's a lot of fun. So I felt like I was there. Great concert Blu-rays.
You felt like you were there, Wade.
I felt like I was there.
Unbelievable. B.B. King Live is on Blu-ray and DVD, but it's also on Blu-ray. This is a perfectly fine compilation of B.B. King songs. Stuff like Every Day I Have the Blues and How Many More Years and Downhearted. Downhearted is always kind of a heartbreaker. Thrill Is Gone, of course. And there's some special guests, including, for some reason, Terrence Howard and Richie Sambora, who's like, okay, I guess, Richie Sambora. Yes, you're not B.B. King. But, who doesn't love B.B. King? And the fact is, B.B. King is still around, man. That guy's still kicking.
So the man.
God love him.
There's a great PBS DVD here. I wish this was on Blu-ray, but it's only on DVD and CD. This is Marvin Hamlish presents The 70s, The Way We Were.
I never liked Marvin Hamlish. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, but you do love. But you love his score for the Soderbergh film, The Insider.
I did. I loved that
score.
The Informant.
The Informant. Yeah,
you know what? I remember sitting The Informant, which I like that film a lot, and thinking, I really don't like Marvin Hamlish. I never liked Marvin Hamlish, but I love this score.
Yeah, it's true. I like Marvin Hamlish a lot, and this is just a tribute to a certain kind of style of period of vibe of music from the 1970s, and it's great. He got a whole bunch of his old friends from the era to come back and just do a great kind of tribute 70s concert. It was a little potpourri. You got Three Dog Night and B.J. Thomas, Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr., Ray Stevens, Guy and Rallna, for crying out loud. Guy and Rallna, dude.
Guy and Rallna?
You have no idea who they are, do you?
I do not.
Peaches and Herb. It's great. Gloria Gaynor, Debbie Boone. You just can't get better than this. And there's even great special features, a bunch of performances not even included in the original television broadcast on PBS. And this is just great. Absolutely great. Doesn't get any better. This was filmed in Missouri, of all places. And you can get it on CD as well.
Wait, you know what was not filmed in Missouri?
What?
Robin Gibb in concert with the Danish National Concert Orchestra. That was not filmed in...
That's so weird. Robin Gibb with the Danish Orchestra. It's just like that's from Mars. It's such a strange, obscure thing. But, well, there it is.
Now, the Bee Gees, of course, are unfortunately permanently over since one of the members died.
Yeah.
Last couple of years. But still, Robin does go on stage and he plays Bee Gees songs. Here, he plays... this is from summer 2009. He plays... Night Fever and, You Win Again, Staying Alive. He also does Islands in the Stream, which is nice. You Should Be Dancing, How Deep Is Your Love.
Sweet. Love it.
It was an outdoor concert. He also played, the thing is that the Bee Gees were the Bee Gees were banned before Saturday Night Fever.
Oh yeah, they were. You jive talking? You kidding me? They were big.
Some terrific songs.
Yeah.
New York mining disaster, 1941, one of the classics. That's also on here. And it's interesting stuff. God love these guys. They're still kicking.
Ride, Rise, Roar is a David Byrne concert film. We were just talking about David Byrne before the show. Like, where have all the musical geniuses go? Where are the David Byrnes and the Princes of today? David Byrne's
solo stuff has become really avant-garde, but really interesting. It's really cool stuff.
Super cool. Well, this is a really interesting concert film, and Byrne is as good as ever. I mean, clearly, he's mature now, but this is pretty great. He's been, he's collaborated with Brian Eno in recent years, and there's a weird kind of cool performance art documentary vibe to this as well. There's a lot more than songs going on here, and it's just something you got to see. You just got to check it out. It's David Byrne is a complete and total genius, and it's just the music and the performance and the weirdness. It's like a concert and a documentary in one. It's totally unique. Gotta love it. I am a huge fan of Deep Purple. Love Deep Purple.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Gotta love Deep Purple. That's my funky '70s childhood. Anyway, this is a combination. This is called Deep Purple Phoenix Rising, and this includes a 30-minute concert. Deep Purple rises over Japan from 1975. This has never ever been shown before. This is in a really quite nicely transferred to Blu-ray. And then there's an 80-minute music documentary after that called Getting Tighter, which Deep Purple has not really necessarily been the subject of any documentaries that most people have seen, and this is really, really interesting. There's no way to even get into all the drama here, but it's fascinating. Now, if you're not a Deep Purple fan, you're not going to necessarily care. But the music, the 30-minute concert is reason enough, I'd think, to pick this up. And then you also get a thing here, some rare live tracks, which were all remastered in 2011. So check it out. Dizzy Gillespie and Redondo. Dizzy, I don't know what's wrong with those cheeks, but those cheeks blow some beautiful tunes. Dizzy Gillespie, of course, amazing trumpeter, famous for cheeks that blow up like giant balloons. And this is an amazing performance from 1986 that was shot by Gary Keys in Redondo Beach. So it's on DVD, not on Blu-ray, because there's no point really. The resolution doesn't merit it. But it's not long; it's an hour long. But Dizzy is just fantastic, and you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. So highly recommended there. And then also, if you're really into the trumpet stuff, Miles Davis live at Montreux, highlights from 1973 to 1991. This is the first of two Montreux concert DVDs that we got today, and Miles Davis at Montreux that's a history of legendary performances, and they blow through the decades here really quickly with 10 tracks, starting with 1973 to 1984 to 1985, a lot of stuff from 85 and 86. And you wind up with some stuff even in the 90s. Some of the tracks.
He died in 91.
Yeah, which it goes right up to 91. And so JoJo, Celia, The Pan Piper, Pacific Express, Jean-Pierre, Heavy Metal Prelude is unreal. It's just totally awesome. It's just great seeing him through the years, just working that audience. It's absolutely terrific. And then also Paul Rogers and Friends live at Montreux. This is from 1994. I'm not a huge fan of Paul Rogers, but you get great appearances from other people. The Friends part is pretty cool. And you get Brian May. I'm always a fan of Brian May's. Gosh, that guy just rocks it on the guitar. And Jason Bonham, Luther Allison, a lot of others. If those names mean nothing to you, don't get it. But, Montreux's a great place, and I got to go there, man. I want to go there live one of these years.
Well,
I got to go.
You'll go there live. I mean, you're always, wherever you go, you're there live.
I used to live nearby. I lived, for just a very, very short stretch in Switzerland, not too far from there. Should have gone. Never went. Anyway.
City dropper.
City dropper, yeah, I was in Lausanne. Anyway. What else we got?
Oh, we have two more rock and roll Blu-rays. Actually, we have a heavy metal Blu-ray, Megadeth. Megadeth, That One Life, That One Night. live in Buenos Aires. Megadeth, never my favorite. They're just a little too loud for me. The whole Dave Mustaine thing. I think Dave Mustaine's a smart guy, even though he sort of, was all into black magic when he was a teenager, and I think he wound up being kind of born again into Christianity, Dave Mustaine. He's kind of a weird guy. But anyway, this is a rather loud concert from Buenos Aires, including Megadeth hits such as Symphony of Destruction, Peace Sells, Tornado of Souls, Trust, In My Darkest Hour. Anyway, if you like Megadeth, go for it. The sound is great. The video's okay. I mean, it's not an older concert, but it's 2000. What is it? Actually, when is this concert? 2005. It's a little bit before the total high def era. A little bit better on the video side is Sheryl Crow, Miles from Memphis. This is live at the Pantages Theater right here in Los Angeles. This was Sheryl promoting 100 Miles from Memphis, which is not my favorite Sheryl Crow album, but still the Blu-ray has a bunch of Sheryl Crow classics like If It Makes You Happy and Strong Enough, My Favorite Mistake. Good stuff. I like Sheryl Crow.
I like her. She did Lance Armstrong. That says something good about her. Primal Scream is renowned for their Screamadelica album, and Screamadelica Live is an attempt to bring this multimedia monstrosity to Blu-ray. I'm not a huge fan, but I know a lot of people are, so I'm not going to pass judgment on it. It is what it is. If you just go, oh, Screamadelica Live on Blu-ray, awesome, just go to town. Yes Speak is this really kind of a cool 2-disc set. This is a little hard to sort of sum up, but if you're a fan of Yes, you will just go bananas for this. I love a lot of Yes tunes. This is like a documentary concert consortium thing, and this is all recorded during the 35th anniversary European tour. So if you're a Yes nut like this one guy that I went to high school with who wore, I kid you freaking not, every single day, all 4 years of high school, he wore a Yes T-shirt.
That's not true.
It is true.
It's impossible. Every single day.
Every single day. 4 years of high school.
What if it was cold out?
He wore a Yes T-shirt with like a sweater on top. It was a Yes T-shirt every single day. His name was Steve something. Steve
Austin, a man barely
alive?
alive?
Was Steve. He wore a Yes T-shirt every freaking day. Actually, it was 3 years of high school because I was in a 3-year high school. But 4 sounds dramatic, right?
See, already that story is losing some of its luster.
Maybe he wore a T-shirt like I don't know 60 times
exactly.
in 3 years.
But
you get the idea.
Yes, I do.
You get the idea. Brand New Day is an interesting little weird, funky. I know, right? It's a weird little funky Australian musical it's about an Aboriginal guy who's in search of his father, and it's a whole weird musical odyssey. The songs are interesting. The story is so-so. The acting's not so great. It's a real funky style. It kind of wants to be sort of an Aboriginal version of the original stage production. Jeffrey Rush is great in it. Everybody else is uneven. If you are not Australian, if you don't sort of have an appreciation for the original stage production, this probably will mean nothing to you. What I find interesting, and it looks decent, it's on Blu-ray, it looks decent. The original production on stage and the movie were called Brand New Day, spelled B-R-A-N space N-U space D-A-E. And because that obviously confused the daylights out of people, they have now released this as just Brand New Day, spelled, like B-R-A-N-D-N-E-W-D-A-Y, which kind of changes it a little bit. The weird quote that they throw on the cover here I find really disturbing. Michael Snyder of Sirius XM Radio says, "If you love Mamma Mia, this Brand New Day is for you." I don't know a lot of people that admit to loving Mamma Mia, and I'm not sure that this has anything to do with it. It really doesn't. But it's okay for the low budget that they made it for, but it's really limited in its scope.
You're not giving me this, are you?
Are you kidding me?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
You know how I love that movie? I'm going to go home and watch this right now.
You know what the problem with this Blu-ray?
Over and over again.
You know what the problem with this Blu-ray is?
What?
Too much DNR. Too much digital noise reduction.
Okay.
I'm saying, I think that, because it says first time on Blu-ray meticulously restored, which means that they scrubbed this thing clean with DNR software.
Yeah.
So now it lost some of that.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's because it's a grainy movie.
Yeah, not anymore.
It's a really not. Oh man, gosh darn it, Paramount, stop it.
But the colors are good. flesh tones are good. Black levels are totally fine.
So this little thing they're bragging about with the sticker meticulously restored.
Which means that they basically... And you know what? Look, we were talking earlier about Warner Brothers, about Fox and how they sometimes treat their Blu-rays. It's the same thing with Patton. Remember Patton?
Oh, yeah,
The Patton Blu-ray is glossy sheen, smooth, perfect, which is exactly how the film wasn't shot. And Breakfast at Tiffany's is the same way. Now, it's got a lot of great extras, that Blu-ray. Audio commentary with the producer. It's got a thing on Henry Mancini, who did the music. The one interesting extra that I liked was this thing called Mr. Yunioshi, an Asian Perspective. Because, as you know...
That's so controversial, the Mickey Rooney portrayal of...
Mickey Rooney was hired to portray an Asian man.
With the teeth and the whole stereotype. And, there's even a moment in Dragging the Bruce Lee story where you see Jason Scott Lee as Bruce Lee sitting there with his, eventual wife, played by Lauren Holly. And they're sitting there very uncomfortably in a movie theater watching that scene. Mr. Garightry, I protest, and they're really uncomfortable. And we all laughed at that when we first saw the movie, but it puts it in a different perspective. It's like that's the one thing in the movie that just makes it awkward today.
Bizarre. And I don't know what... I guess Blake Edwards was thinking it's satirical. Is he making a point?
No.
I don't. You don't really find out from this.
Look, this is the guy who made The Party with Peter Sellers playing an Indian man, which we all forgive only because all of our Indian friends, and I have a lot of them, think that movie is hilarious.
But that movie was completely satirical from beginning to end. That thing was nothing but a goof.
Yes.
I don't consider Breakfast at Tiffany's like a goof.
I know. I think it's Blake Edwards' sensibilities just going a little bit awry.
Well, they hit it head on, and you got to give them credit for that in this Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Except the video is not that great.
Julie Taymor is a freak. I just want to say that for the record. She's a freak, but she's a talented freak. But, man, this woman, when she does Shakespeare, she goes way the freak overboard. She previously tackled Shakespeare in what is widely considered to be the worst of Shakespeare's plays, Titus Andronicus, in the film Titus, it's a horrible play. It's like Shakespeare's first play. It's he's just getting his feet wet. He's figuring it out, and it's not good. It never should have been made into a movie. It should never even be produced as a play. It should just be kind of an anecdote. But she just drilled that thing all to hell with weirdness and her freaky imagery and whatnot. And now she does the same thing to The Tempest, except The Tempest is like sacred ground for me. I love Paul Mazursky's Tempest. I am not fond of this Tempest. I'm not even fond, frankly, of the Peter Greenaway thing, Prospero's Books, which is another weird, freaky take on Tempest. Just do it straight, Greenaway. People.
You're out of your mind.
I love Helen Mirren, but changing the gender of the lead character does not a great movie make. That being said, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Alfred Molina is very good, but it's just Russell Brand doesn't belong in here. It's Felicity Jones doesn't belong in here. It's just too weird and eccentric and uneven.
The problem with Taymor at this point, and I think Lion King is amazing, and I'm very surprised it opened very strongly.
I know.
The 3D version. The problem with Taymor is that she has the same problem at this point as Tim Burton has, which is that they are drawn to the visual possibilities of material.
Yes.
Not the storytelling of the characters.
Absolutely true.
And you are looking at somebody who saw the opening night of Spider-Man on Broadway.
Oh, I know. I remember you telling me all about that nightmare.
And so I'm saying that Taymor really needs to stop already and tell me a story.
I agree, but I don't think she knows how. And then we also have a terrific film that I absolutely adore, and I am thrilled that this is out on Blu-ray and DVD and digital copy altogether. That is Bridesmaids. This film is absolutely just spectacularly hilarious. And if you watched Melissa McCarthy pick up her Emmy Award recently, she is a riot in this movie, which is saying a lot because it's already chock full of very, very talented and enormously funny actresses like Kristen Wiig, who co-wrote it, and of course Maya Rudolph, who both of them SNL alum. A lot of people thought, it's like a female version of The Hangover. Not even. It's a movie that could only have been written by women, but gosh, it's funny. It's almost more bit funny than funny overall. The sketch bits are really hilarious, but you know what? This movie deserves all the success that it's had, and I can't say enough about it. It's got heaps of extras, not even worth going into, deleted scenes and extended scenes, and the thing called Drunkarama, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's more stuff than it really, really needs to have because the movie is just so good and so funny. So grab a bunch of friends, sit down, watch it, enjoy it. And if you want to write us at gods@digigods.com. Tell us what for. Mark, what else do we have to say?
Oh, are we done?
We're done.
Oh, goodbye.